Yo, what's happening, everybody? Today, oh man, I don't remember what today is. I think it's the 19th, I think it is, no, today's the 22nd of March. Yeah, so, time to get down to business. Had a rough night last night. I'll go over that in detail, so I'm really not feeling my oats. Today we're going to go with Laguna Seca Badger because it rules. Gonna go with a soap that I haven't used in a long time, but I absolutely love. This is where I keep my Oxford and Cambridge. Check and speak Oxford and Cambridge. Delicious. Stuff is so good. All right. So, and then building lather in the fine lathering bowl. I said I'm not really feeling my best right now. I went out last night and I kind of did it a little big. There's a crew here in Nashville called Party Basics that has been doing some pretty good events over the past some time. I don't know how long they really have been truly at it, but they've been throwing some pretty good events. And the thing is that they're bringing like legends, you know, classic names for all the old ravers that still come out in Nashville. Nashville is weird like that. There's a lot of there's still a lot of people, you know, like mid, late 30s, early 40s that still go to the club and, you know, go out and have a good time on the weekends. Which I don't really, you know, I'm pretty sure that happens in other cities as well, but I guess it's just really cool to see it happening here because there were many years, you know, when people just weren't coming out. You know, people around my age, my vintage, weren't coming out, and it sucked because these are people, you know, that we used to all go out way back in the day. You know, I've only lived here in Nashville since I moved to the area, I should say, in 2001. I didn't start going out in Nashville, you know, to the parties, clubs, the scene sort of thing, until like 2003, something like that. But I mean, I remember seeing a lot of people. I remember a lot of these faces because before I lived here in Nashville, I lived in Huntsville, Alabama, which is only 2 hours south. So, you know, a lot of people, I remember seeing a lot of faces because they would come down to Nashville, or excuse me, Huntsville, and we would go to Nashville, of course. So, you know, it's cool. And my personal theory on that is because everybody's getting old enough to where their kids are a good babysittable age. I personally think that's what it is. I drank a lot of gin and tonics yesterday. Last night, I should say. Shut down the club. Dancing when the lights still came on, which is a rarity for me. As a DJ, I'm too cool to dance. It's just kind of always how it's been. But, not last night, I actually got down. Today's razor, I should say, I'm gonna go with this weird thing. This is an Ikon, Ikon first generation slant. Getting this on loan from a friend. Thank you, sir. My previous experience with this thing, I detested it. I couldn't get it to cut, and I don't ever remember having as much a problem loading the blade as I did this one. This one's already loaded because it took me a good while to do it. Of course, it has silver blue. So we'll give it a shot. Yeah, just like before. Yeah, I mean, I guess that worked. Here's my specific beef with this razor. If you've ever had a chance to use it, you see how it has like that little slot there for the blade reveal? I don't like that. It forces you to use the stupid angle. And I just don't like the way it feels. And the blade loading is just utterly stupid. It doesn't seem to cut as close as any of my other razors. Still doesn't, I should say. This is the first time I've used one of these in probably about a year or so. I spent quite some time looking for one when they weren't available back in the day. And I finally found somebody that was willing to part with it. And now I see why. This thing just kind of sucks. I don't like it. And you know what? We're not going to use it anymore. Thankfully, I thought ahead and figured that was going to be the case. So, I got my baby back. This is my R2, and it has a silver blue in it on a Kronos handle. It's going to be the first time I use this thing in about a month or so, I'd say. And it still rules. Lather's a little drier than I thought it was. Had some water. Anyway, so last night, let's go back to the parties. Again, the people that are doing these events, they call, the name of the crew, the production crew is called Party Basics. So last month, excuse me, they brought a guy named Derek Carter to town, and I've never really been. I've given Derek Carter numerous tries. The first time I ever saw him, I think this was the first time, pretty sure it was back in 2002 or 2003. I think it was 2003. When I saw him play in Detroit at the festival. This was actually the last year that the festival was free. But yeah, I saw him playing that year, and I did not like it. And I've seen him like a couple other times over the years. Wasn't into it. Last month here in Knoxville was no different. One of the things that I just don't understand about the guy, he looks utterly bored, overly bored when he's DJing. And I just don't get that. I've seen him here, I've seen him in Detroit, and I want to say Atlanta was the last time, or the other place I saw him. Which is stupid for him not to get into it, because all of those cities have, they love house, you know what I mean? I like house. All those cities love house music. Atlanta actually is becoming something of a capital in the Afro house scene. There's like a lot of, Afrocentric producers and DJs out of Atlanta, and they have a thriving black house nightlife in Atlanta. But he stunk up the joint. He stunk up the joint every time I've seen him. And I shouldn't say he stunk up the joint. I just didn't like what he played. He is a good DJ, technically. Can't fault him for that. It's just the stuff that he plays isn't really my bag. So, this month was a guy called Mark Farina from San Francisco. And I'm not much of a Mark Farina fan either. And I wasn't going to go last night. I don't know what the hell decided to make. Oh yeah, my original plans fell through, and I didn't want to stay home or stay in last night, so I decided to go out, and I'm glad I did. It was a lot of fun. He ripped it. The reason that I didn't, or I guess that I generally speaking am not the world's biggest Mark Farina fan, is because he tends to play a lot of West Coast house. And the West Coast sound, it's very dubby. And by dubby, I mean like dub, like Jamaican dub. Lots of delay, kind of psychedelic sounding, effects and productions, and that's just not really my bag. I like up-tempo, you know, I like my dance music up-tempo. You know, be it house, drum and bass, techno. I just like it up-tempo. I grew up with up-tempo music. You know, my parents listened to salsa and merengue, and that's what, I mean, that's, you know, that's what I was programmed with. I've been listening to dance music pretty much all my life. Up-tempo dance music at that. So, you know, that's what I'm into. And, you know, Mark Farina used to never, I mean, he just was, you know, very West Coast dubby, lazy, weed-smoking house. But last night, he brought it, man. He played a lot of up-tempo stuff. He played my favorite acid house record. And he actually framed that with two other records that I absolutely love. He played Ralphie Rosario record, a remix of a Ralphie Rosario record called You Used to Hold Me. And I'll link all three of these in the description down there. This water, or excuse me, this lather seems to be pretty thirsty. So he played, you know, the Ralphie Rosario thing, You Used to Hold Me. And during the first part of the record, he played my absolute favorite acid house record of all time. It's called Downfall by Armando. And I lost my mind. I lost my fucking brain when I heard it. I don't think that I've ever heard that record out in a club. It was written in 1989, and to hear it in a club, the only time that I've ever heard it was a club in Nashville, Tennessee in 2015. That's fucking beautiful is what the fuck that is. So yeah, you know, lost my mind. And then, you know, he took that record out of the mix, and the Ralphie Rosario record was still playing. And then, you know, after the breakdown of the Ralphie Rosario record, he played No Way Out by Adonis, which is another classic Chicago record from the 80s. And again, brain was lost. Technotronic, if you remember them of Pump Up the Jam fame, I want to say that they sampled the Adonis record. I don't quite remember though. I think that's about right. May not be though. So yeah, I was dancing. I don't generally dance. And I almost never dance when I don't have a stack of speakers in front of me, which of course, you know, they didn't have last night. And I've told the guy numerous times, you know, most of the people that are going to these, this series of events is called Jack into the Future. You know, the people that go to these Jack into the Future events, we're all old school, you know. I'd say the average age of the crowd has to be at least like 32 years old, which for clubs and raves, blah, 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 is actually pretty old. You know, we're all old school, and we like speakers. We like stacks of speakers. I love stacks of speakers. If you know that I'm at an event, and if there are stacks of speakers out on the floor, then you can pretty much be guaranteed that you'll find me in front of the left stack of speakers. It's just the way I always done it. Excuse me. But yeah, you know, I drank a lot of gin and tonics, met some cool people, met a couple girls from Cincinnati who were cool as fuck, and they were telling me about an event next weekend in Cincy, a guy called Titanton Devante. I don't know if that's his real name. I think it is actually, but either way, that name rules. Titanton is going to be playing in Cincinnati next week, and it's going to be at a night called Blackout on Friday evening. They said it's a small club with a capacity of about 100, 120, and that always makes for a good night because, you know, clubs always feel better when they feel packed. So this place, I would imagine, it's going to feel pretty much rammed the entire night. So I think I'm going to go and I think it's gonna fucking be incredible. So yeah, such a good night. I lost my voice. You know, I'm very into it when I'm into it. So you know, I'm a one-man party. I guess that's the best way to describe it. I'm one of those people at the club that DJs love to have, because I'm one of the first people to get loud, and I'm one of the first people to get rowdy. And it almost seems as though everyone else, once they see me getting into it, they're just like, oh shit, if that guy can get down, fuck it, I am too. So, I know that sounds very, like, conceited or whatever, but it's just, I mean, it's what I've observed over the years. So yeah, shut that joint down. Lights came on at 2:45. I saw myself dancing and didn't stop, actually. I'm usually very self-conscious. But I guess the gin and tonic took the wheel. So shut that joint down, and then there was an after party. And I don't go to after parties. Honestly, you know, I've been into this whole dance music thing since, like, I've been going out, I should say, since like 98 or so. And I can count on my two hands, and more than likely have fingers left over, the number of times that I've been to an after party. So I went, and I was so tired. My feet were burning. I guess my shoes weren't really agreeing with me, or I was just cutting a rug a lot more. I was cutting more rugs than I thought I was. But man, my feet were just on fire. The soles of my feet. My toenails hurt for some reason. I don't know how the fuck that happened. But my toenails hurt. I didn't stay at the after party very long. I think I got home at like 5 or so. Went to sleep promptly thereafter. Man, this Oxford and Cambridge, it's been a while since I've used it. I know this is the first time this year that I've used it, and I know it's been a good bit longer than 4 months, 3 months I should say, since I've used it. Good stuff. And you know, the last time that I used the Martin DeCandre original, I kind of noticed that it smelled pretty similar to this. It's not a dead ringer, of course, but it seemed, I remember it being close, even though I'm probably just not remembering it right. I'm glad to have my R2 back. And that Ikon slant's a fucking weirdo. Anyway, more importantly, excuse me, I heard back from Knoxville, and they did give me an offer. It took them forever to make me one, and I'm going to accept it, or I have accepted it, I should say. It's to start May 4th. It's scary. I don't really... The offer is what it is, but honestly, I'm taking the offer not because of what the offer is, but what the future holds. You know, there's some advancement, there's some very real advancement opportunities there, and I'm going to take full advantage of them. And I'm also going to do this. Hold on. All right. So yeah, the advancement opportunity is very much there. And again, I start May 4th, which means I'm going to have to move. Knoxville is about 3.5 hours from here, something like that. So I got to get my shit out of here. I got to sell this place. You know, thankfully That's not going to be a problem. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna suck to get rid of this place. I mean, you know, ever since I was old enough to know what's up, I've always wanted to live downtown of a city. I'm doing it here. And, you know, I have to turn my back on it. And it's probably going to be some time until I'm in a position to do it again. But I'm going to do everything I can to put myself in a position to do it again, because I took a lot of pride, even though, you know, if you tell somebody here in Nashville that you live downtown, they automatically think you're some kind of hoity-toity, like, high society motherfucker, which is not really accurate for me. But, yeah, so that's, you know, people have been asking, and, you know, it's not that I was trying to shut you guys out, because I never answered anybody that asked, you know, about the interview, but I didn't know. They took like 2 weeks, over 2 weeks to get back to me. And that really pissed me off. But again, I got the offer, I took it. It's gonna be a good thing. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm gonna rip it. Now with regard to Knoxville, they have a little bit of a, they've got a dance music scene. Knoxville is a house town, a lot like Nashville. Nashville's house pedigree goes back quite some time. But yeah, it seems that the huge majority of events in Knoxville are house. Seems like the driving force there is a guy named Kevin. I know Kevin, I've known him for a while. Great DJ. House DJ. He has this badass shirt that I absolutely love, that I want. It's got like the Chicago Bulls logo, and you know how it says like Chicago Bulls, you know, above and below the logo. But instead of saying Chicago Bulls, it says Chicago, and then house under it. It's so fucking cool. I love it, I want one. But that shirt looks like it's that shirt looks like it's been around for a bit, so I don't think that I'll be able to get my hands on one. Who knows though? I've always kept an eye out for it ever since I first saw it. It reminds me of, there used to be these old shirts back in the day that was a Waffle House logo, or, you know, like the signage out front where they have the letters in individual squares, yellow squares. But instead of Waffle House, it said Ghetto House, and I always thought those were pretty clever. They're pretty cool. That's something I miss. One of the many things I guess I miss about the rave scene of the 90s in the States was people, you know, just like tweaking logos like that. You know, for like names of parties, for flyers, for, you know, just whatever it is that you wanted to make your t-shirt say, they would just freak an existing corporate logo. And it was just really cool. I miss shit like that. Couple weebies. I got myself in the eye with my thumb there. Oh, also, R.E. Mark Farina last night. That son of a bitch. He played some pretty good little remixes, bootlegs. He played a hot-ass bootleg of Unity by Queen Latifah. That motherfucker was bad. I liked it a lot. He also played, there's a Dolly Parton record called Jolene. He had a pretty dope little bootleg of that one. And I really liked it. I was really into it, actually. Brings back some weird memories. I shouldn't say weird, just kind of sad. Of the girl that I associate with that record. But it is what it is. Man, I gotta knock this beard down. This thing is too bushy. I've got a lot of grays too. Ton of grays right here and right here. Getting old, you guys. So yeah, you know, I guess just starting to wrap up things here in Nashville. I called Big Brothers Big Sisters the other day, because you have to check in like every month with your match coordinator, I think is her title, and you know, I gotta check in with her every now and again. Excuse me. Have to check in with her every month, you know, regarding like how the match is going, you know, that sort of thing. And you know, I told her that there's a good chance that I'm going to be moving, you know, for work, and you know, she said that happens, and so I told her Friday about it, and she didn't really seem too terribly happy, and it sucks because my little's birthday is the 3rd. So I'm going to be telling him right, not too far from his birthday, that I got to go. And that really sucks. I hate that. These past couple months have been really good. You know, he seems to pay attention, you know, to the life stuff that I tell him about. And it looks like it's starting to take hold, you know. So I really hate that, you know, I'm gonna have to roll out, you know, right around his birthday. So I'm looking forward to that, but you know, I gotta do it. But I'm not gonna completely disappear from his life. He's a good kid, and I'm actually going to love him. So you know, I'll still talk to him. He's got a mobile phone, so we'll still be able to communicate. Aftershave today is going to be fine. Savon lavande, because it's good. This is my favorite of the fine aftershaves, and of course, it's discontinued because I like it. That's just the way life goes. You know, I will say, when I move and find a new place, I am so looking forward to having bathroom storage, because I don't right now. This place is super tiny. It's like 750 square feet. It's not tiny, but it is small. And it has a pedestal sink instead of like, you know, one with storage and drawers and room where I can actually put shit on a counter. There's no counter surrounding this damn basin. So, anyway, yeah, that's gonna be it. I'm gonna go lay down. Probably gonna be asleep by about 9 p.m. and it's gonna be glorious. You guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy your week. See you next time. Peace.